Area realtors say optimism is building amid talks the Fed could cut interest rates in just a few weeks. Mortgage rates have already started to tick downward, and that has some homebuyers starting to come off the sidelines. 9 News real estate expert Lane Lyon is back in the house this morning with some insight on this. Lane is a realtor and managing broker at Coldwell Banker. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, good morning, Corey. Thanks for having me on.
It's a great topic, very timely. So many of these homebuyers have been waiting and waiting. What are you seeing now in terms of the trends?
Well, I would say it's kind of the light at the end of this like affordability tunnel that so many people have kind of been watching for. In fact, the lending world has already started responding to indications that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates at its next meeting on September 18th. That's why we've seen mortgage rates start to come down over the last couple of weeks. In fact, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said on Friday, you may have heard, it is time for the policy to adjust. So by just how much, though, that's kind of the question that a lot of us are looking for. There are some economic factors at play here that we're watching very closely. We've got a big jobs report coming out on September 6th. And if we have a weaker labor market, the result will be a declining interest rates, presumably through the end of the year. So we'll have to watch that. If those numbers come back a bit stronger, which, you know, has some positives as well, the impact could be mortgage rates ticking back up a little bit or staying level. Now, I will say, Corey, one of the big indicators for me happened over the weekend. I was in 2 open houses in Central Park, and there was a steady stream of buyers coming in. I would say more serious now than they've been in recent months because they're just ready to act. The interest rates are coming down, and these buyers want to take advantage of some of the softer prices before the competition picks up.
Because that's what will happen, right, when those go down.
Yes.
So what's your advice then for people who have been waiting to buy a house?
Oh gosh, the waiting game. Well, I would say if you need financing, get pre-qualified with a lender or reconnect with your lender if it has been a while, because your buying power may have changed a little bit. In fact, I had Lou Tornambi from Guaranteed Rate Affinity run some numbers for us this morning. Here's an example of a $750,000 home, 20% down, which you don't have to do, but we're doing for this example. You can see where we were last year at this time was 7.5% compared to this time, right around 6.5% right now. This is principal and interest. It is a savings of just over $400 a month. So we're starting to see things happen in the right direction. And this is enough for some people to say, all right, I'm ready for my house. Experts say, though, Corey, it's not until we get into that 5% range that we really start to see buyer demand go up. When we see that, could it be this year? Could it be next year? It's going to depend on some of those economic factors we were talking about.
What's your whole saying about date the price and marry
the house, date the rate?
There
right?
you go. And that makes total sense.
Yeah, it really does. And we're at a point right now where people have been dating their rate. I think you might be one of them.
Oh, I'm in that.
Saying, okay, it's time for me to get a new rate.
Yes.
And the time may be now. Refinancing is definitely on a lot of people's minds. The lending experts that I'm in touch with say, if the current mortgage rate is 0.5% to a full 1% lower than where you were, say, a year, 18 months ago when you bought your house, it's time to start having those conversations. Yes, there's closing costs, a lot of things to weigh, but this is news, Corey, that a lot of people have been waiting for. I'm an optimist, you know this, but I really think that we're starting to see the market shift in a direction that we have been waiting for as well.
Big time. As always, Lane, thanks so much for coming.
You got it. Thanks for having me on.
Chris?